Life is hard. See, it's hard when you are 49 years old, been working on a job for 17 years, and they come in and tell you you're finished and give you 1 week severance pay. And you got to start all over again. It's hard when you're married and raising children and your children are crawling and your husband dies unexpectedly. It's hard handling just the tragedies of life. It's hard when you're working on something and you put everything you have in it and it doesn't work out. You lose your money and other people's money. It's hard.
The fact that many people become discouraged when they use affirmations, they listen to tapes, they read books, they do all of the things that are required of them to develop their consciousness, and things still don't happen. They affirm, I can do it, yes I can, and yes I will. I'm blessed and highly favored, and nothing happens, and they become frustrated. They become discouraged and disillusioned, and they quit.
I had like $106 in the bank, and I had to sell my dog, and things were not looking very, very good. My $40 car had just blown up, so I was taking a bus to work. I had no film history, no real film knowledge. I was just working. So often I had gone to fight films or sporting films. Yes, we're going to go out there, we're going to knock him out, you're going to win. I said, no, I'm not going to win. I'm going to get destroyed. If I can just be lucid, if I can still be standing on my feet, you know what, then life isn't so bad. And I think at the very end of our lives, if we can still say, you know, we were never humbled, we were knocked down, but we got up, and I can say, I lived life with integrity, and I took all the blows, and I still prevailed, then you feel as though you're invincible. You can take all that life has to dish out.
Life is going to happen. And you're going to set up a plan, and you're going to have a vision, and you're going to hope that it's going to turn out perfect. But what so often happens in life is that things get burned. And things go the wrong way. And it's in that moment that you're going to have to choose your reaction. You have a choice to make.
Some of you are in the darkest of darkest valleys. I don't know what you're going through, but I know what you need. Hope. And I want you to know that beautiful things can come from your broken pieces when you give your broken pieces a chance.
It is okay to be scared. It is okay to cry. But giving up is not.
There's going to come a time in your life when you reach your lowest point, where your friends are nowhere around. If you have family, they can't help you, and it seems like there's no light at the end of your tunnel. Now you're gonna feel defeated, but I'm gonna tell you right now, today, not to give up.
When you get into a tight spot and everything goes against you until it seems that you cannot hold on for a minute longer, never give up then, for that is just the place and time that the tide will turn.
Everything you're going through is preparing you for what you ask God for. You just got to quit tripping while you're in the process, because the process is necessary. You may not see it now, but when he gets you on the other side of it, you're going to see exactly why it went that way, and you're going to be okay with it. Pull yourself together and quit tripping, because you're in the process. God is processing you. He ain't through with you. If he was through with you, you would not wake up in the morning.
There's going to be things that go on that are out of your control. The worst thing you can do is let something that's out of your control you. Get control of yourself, get control of your emotions. Don't get angry, don't get frustrated. Instead, stay calm and figure out how to move forward.
All you do is you fall down, get back up again, fall down, get back up again, fall down, get back up again.
And it doesn't matter how you get knocked down in life, because that's going to happen. All that matters is that you got to get up.
The sun doesn't shine every day. The storms will come. There will be times when the darkness seems to consume everything.
When life seems like it's at its worst, you can't see the prosperity that is hiding right behind it. You can't look past the clouds and the storm that you're currently in. Well, you and I both know that whenever a storm is over, the sun always comes out.
But don't let it consume you. Even in the darkest times, even in the strongest storms, even when the sun is blotted out and the world is falling apart, the darkness cannot extinguish your light. No matter what is happening, no matter how hard the fight is, as long as you keep fighting, you win.
Your hardships, your challenges, your situation will either be the reason you don't make it, or it will be the story you tell when you do make it, and you get to make that choice.
Only surrender is defeat. Only quitting is the end. Fight on. It is time for you to fight harder, to dig in, to go on the warpath, to assess what the problems are and decide which one you are going to attack first. Then attack. It won't be easy. In fact, it will be hard. Life is hard. That's what life is. And these challenges that you face, they are going to do their best to take you down. Do not let them.
I don't care if you have to inch your way day by day. Even if you have to get down and it hurts and it's hard and nobody can see what you're really going through. If you don't quit, the pit will become your platform. I'm telling somebody right now, your lowest moment will be the place of your greatest testimony.
I don't care how dark it looks for you. I don't care what they done said to you. I don't care what the verdict is. I don't care what the haters say. It ain't over. No matter what happens to you, it ain't over. Ain't no such a thing as over. Do you know, man, that you can actually mess your life completely up? You can jack it all the way up, and you can turn around and get it right. Do you know that you can be divorced multiple times and still be okay? Do you understand that you cannot have a degree and still be just fine? If you're struggling right now and you're having a hard time and you're pissed off and you're frustrated, know two things. One, you're not alone. Two, this is necessary for you to get where you want to go. And if you quit, if you falter, if you stop, all the pain will be for nothing. And you need to remember that.
When you feel like giving up, don't. When you're thinking about giving up, don't. When it look like you ain't gonna make it, keep going. When they tell you you can't, come on, man, who are they? When they tell you to put all your stuff back on your desk, don't do that, man. Don't do that. When they tell you you're not gonna make it, don't believe them, man. Don't believe them. You got to be relentless.
You're not a manager of your life, you're a creator of your life, or you wouldn't be in this room. How do you create your life? You get hungry for something, don't you? You decided there's something you wanted so bad that you unleashed all your desire. You became obsessed with it. If there's something you once envisioned and now it's real, it's because you didn't just envision it, you brought so much emotion to it that now it's in your life. It was once a dream, it was once a goal, and now it's in your life. Wherever focus goes, energy flows.
Line up those problems, confront them, face them, fight them. Do not let them win. And you keep fighting no matter what. And you never quit. You never quit.
I want to say to you, get up. Your future is brighter than your past. Get up. Your ladder is greater than your former. I want to say to every person in this room, get up, because the best is still yet to come.
We don't see the decay from altitude. We don't see it from an elevated position. We are like the frog boiling in the pot as the temperature slowly increases 1 degree at a time. 1 degree at a time. 1 degree closer to death. 1 degree closer to failure. That is why to win tactically, we have to think strategic all the time. Think strategic all the time. Now that you know what you're trying to achieve, ask yourself this question. Ask yourself this question before any action or any inaction. Ask yourself this question. What I am doing, what I am about to do, is it going to help me get where I am going? Is this action going to make me stronger or weaker? Is this action going to make me smarter or more skilled? Will this action move me toward the strategic long-term goals I am trying to achieve in my life? And do not lie to yourself. Don't rationalize. Don't negotiate. You have to tell yourself the truth. That is where discipline comes from. Discipline is rooted in the truth we tell ourselves, and discipline delivers long-term strategic success. Am I a disciplined person? Sure. But that discipline is there because I know and understand my long-term goals, and I know why those goals are important.
In the midst of challenges, opposition, and pain. But when you think about what true courage is the ability to accept pain and start things without any guarantee of success, but also understanding that the ability to learn is a gift even when pain is your teacher. And so for me, the game of football was pretty much like this stage. It was a platform that God had provided to cultivate a certain level of talent and excellence if I did it the right way. So one day when it stopped, it was certain things I could extract from it and apply and plug into other areas and aspects of my life, and so I could be successful no matter what I wanted to do. And so I never understood when somebody would quit on a wind sprint, because I just looked at it as a wind sprint. And most importantly, it was something that somebody said, I wanted to play the game of football, and so if you wanted to play, why come out and complain about doing the work that it takes to be great? I said, but most importantly, a person should never complain about something that they're not willing to change. And if they're gonna do it, why not try to be great at it? Why not try to see what we possess and put forth a level of excellence and greatness to see can we make our teammates and the people around us better? And so when I approached the game of football, the thing I loved about it was I got to inflict violence on another individual and not get in trouble for it. I loved every bit of that. But something happened early in my life, and it shifted the trajectory of my life and still impacts the way that I live my life until this day. That's why when I first stepped on the stage, the first thing I did was, I want to say thank you to the coaches, to the support staff, and everybody that brought the kids here tonight. Because I know what that means. It's that very act that changed my life. I probably wouldn't be on this stage before you tonight if that didn't happen in my life when I was around 9 years old. And what happened was I was playing football in the street, blue pickup truck pulls up. And me and my cousins would play every single night like clockwork. The routine was simple. I just wanted to ignite the process of what we wanted, right? I didn't want to say we wanted something and not work for it. I wanted to ignite the process so we can engage in consistent action. And so that being in the street, light pole to light pole, that was the process for us. That being in the street every single night till the street lights pop on, that was process for us. Right? I didn't want to say I wanted it, and then we go in the house, we sit on the couch, and we start playing video games. No, if we really want it, we're going to get in the street and we're going to work for it.
All the difficulties, all the ups and downs, all the mistakes, everything I've learned from it, I'm going to just put it in a condensed package. 6th grade now, 1968, I'm 10. They sitting up there and people started standing up. Brenda wants to be a doctor. Larry wants to be a lawyer. So I stood up and I'm thinking to myself, that is here, it's a gold star moment right here. Oh yeah, this is the day I've been waiting on. I'm gonna get recognized for the brilliant cat that I am. And it's no doubt in their mind now who the star student of this school is, because I done put something on my paper that was unbelievable. because nobody had wrote on their paper, I want to be on TV. I get up in front of the class, she said, what did you write on your paper? This is big. I said, I want to be on TV. She said, why did you write that on your paper? I said, because that was our assignment for today. She said, and what made you think you could write such a thing on your paper? Who do you know on TV? I said, nobody. She said, anybody in this school ever been on TV? I said, no, ma'am. She said, anybody in your neighborhood ever been on TV? I said, no, ma'am. She said, well, what makes you think you can be on TV? And she crushed me. I said, I don't know, but that's what I want to do. She said, I'm going to call your house and I'm going to tell your mother that you're a smart aleck. So when I got home, she on the front porch. And she said, what did you do up at that school? I said, well, Mama, I just did what she asked me to do. She asked me what I want to be. I wrote, I want to be on TV. She said, why did you write that on the paper? I said, because Mama, that's what I want to be. She said, when your daddy get home, I'm going to tell him you've been up at the school being a smart aleck. So he comes home, he takes his bath, and he's reading the paper, and afterwards, he said, boy, come in here. He said, what is this your mama telling me you did up at the school? And she's standing there. Tell him what you did. And I said, I wrote on a piece of paper, I want to be on TV. He said, what you do that for? I said, because that's what the teacher asked us, Daddy, what we want to be. She said, and you being up there being smart, he gonna put a smart answer, he want to be on TV. My father looked at me and said, well, what's wrong with that? He was going, well, Slick, he gotta be more reasonable like the teacher said. He said, well, that don't make no sense. That's what the boy want to be. She said, he can't do what he want to do. Got to do like the teacher said. He said, boy, go in your room. Come in the room a little bit later on. He said, boy, what you write on your paper? I said, I want to be on TV. He said, well, what she want you to put on the paper? I said, I don't know, Daddy, like a police, ball player or something. That's what all the rest of the boys do. He said, well, put that on the paper. Take it back up to the dream-killing health. So he said, now take that paper and put it in your drawer. He said, every night before you go to bed, read your paper. He said, every morning when you get up and go to school, read your paper. I did it. If you turn on your television set 7 days a week, I'm on there somewhere, because that is a principle of success that all successful people know. If it is written, so shall it be. That's the deal.
And so when I've been telling you to get that goal, get that dream, and I've just been telling you drive it and drive it and drive it and drive it, what I've been talking about is consistency. And for some of you, for real, you'll never have it, you'll never be it, you'll never do it because you don't have any consistency. Listen to me, you're killing me and you're killing yourself. You start and you stop, and you start and you stop, and then you start and you stop. And your goal, you got the on the wall, you got the Bentley on the wall, you got the gated community on the wall, you got the degree on the wall, but the problem is you keep starting and stopping and starting and stopping. And all I'm asking you to do for me is I'm asking for some consistency. All right, so I'm talking about the power of 21. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? I'm talking about doing something for 21 straight days. Now, it may not work. I remember when I first did this, the first thing I started, my boy Hollering Hill, he gave me a book called a Book of Proverbs, right? And he told me to read like a book of Proverbs a day for 21 days. Just start a habit. For real, we started with reading Proverbs, something real simple, but he said, if you can do something for 21 days, like you'll never have to think about it. I don't know if you caught what I told you this morning. I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning, 3 o'clock, burnt out, tired, like, I can't do it. I just, boom, went back to sleep, boom, 3 minutes later, my body woke me up. What am I saying to you? I'm telling you consistency, habits. My body like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you think you're doing, but we don't do that. Sleep is for suckers. Get up. Listen to me, not my mind. My body kicked in and said, get up. We're talking about consistency. And so I read the book of Proverbs, 21 straight days, right? And I started doing other stuff. I said, we're going to exercise for 21 days. I just started trying to do stuff for 21 days to see if I can do it. And what I discovered is, for real, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, I did 14 days, then I started all over again. This time I did 16 days, then I started all over again. And I did 18 days, and I started all over again. And I did 21. Some stuff I can do 21 straight days. Some stuff I got to start and stop and start and stop and start. But when you get to 21, there's power in consistency. you're broke. And until you admit where you are and define where you are and quit playing it cool and try to fool everybody about where you are, you're going to keep losing. Let me be real with you. Now that I've been funny with you, now we're going to get real. Stop bullshitting everybody. You're not fooling anybody. You talk to a real wealthy man, I know what you really got going on. And by the way, your Uncle Larry, the lawyer, making $350 grand a year, that ain't money. That's not money. If you're not at least at multiple seven figures in this world, you are still broke. Trust me. My brother-in-law makes $280,000. He lives in Chino Hills. He can't even afford to buy a damn house right now where he lives because he can't save. If he had these strategies, he probably could do it, right? But do not fool yourself that you got it going or you need to be in a big damn hurry. Time is running out on you. There's 86,400 seconds in a day. The separator between me and you and people that win and lose is what we do with those seconds. And you're too slow. You're too cool. You're too casual. You think too much. You need to get in a hurry. The separator in this room, you're all learning the same things. The separator is going to be who takes massive action quickly. You all learn the same things. I know all you know. Lots of guys know what I know. Why aren't they wealthy? Why don't they have a $40 million jet? Why don't they live oceanfront Laguna Beach? Why don't they have the most unbelievable homes in the world in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho? Why don't they retire their parents? Why don't, when their daughter breaks their nose, they go to an urgent care and some doofus snaps it back? I go to a $25,000 surgeon, write a check and don't think about it for my kid. And I'm the guy driving the Chrysler LeBaron, man. I'm the guy whose water was turned off. So listen to me. Look at my hands. You stop playing around. I'm looking around this room. Not all of you are 19 years old. Time's running out on you. It's serious. You got a chance to change your damn life with what you're learning here. And not just your life, the lives of your children and grandchildren forever. The choices I made, the work I put in, the difference I've made, my great-great-grandchildren will know the difference. There'll be a portrait of my grandchildren, me and my wife. These are the people that changed our family tree forever. You need to stop letting the damn world push your family around.
At a time in my life when I needed some new ideas to help change the direction of my life. I wasn't destitute at the time, but I certainly needed some help. I guess we could all use a little help at age 25. Let me take a minute to tell you how it happened. I had gotten off to a great start in life. I was raised in farm country in Idaho, a small community of about 5,000 people, not far from the Snake River in the southwest corner of the state. A great place to grow up. In fact, my parents still live in this small farm community. My father is 82 years old, my mother 75, and they are still healthy and doing very well, as active now as they have ever been. I'm very proud of them, and they have always been a great example for me. After graduating from high school, I went to 1 year of college, and then I decided I was smart enough, so I quit, which was one of my major mistakes. Among many major mistakes I made in those early days. But I was ambitious and willing to work hard, and figured I wouldn't have any trouble getting a job, which turned out to be accurate. So with a head full of dreams and ambitions, I started my first job. About 3 years later, I got married, made lots of promises, worked hard, and a couple of years later started a family. And at age 25, I started taking a new look at my life. My weekly paycheck amounted to the grand total of $57. I was far behind on my promises, behind on my bills, and discouraged. I was far from making the progress I thought I should have made. I was willing to work hard. That was not my problem. But it was clear that it was going to take more than hard work. And I didn't want to wind up at age 60 broke, needing assistance like so many people I saw around me, not in the richest country in the world. So what do you do to change the direction of your life? I thought, well, I should go back to school. 1 year of college doesn't look that good on an application. But now with my family starting, going back to school seemed like a tough decision. I didn't have any money to start my own business. Money was one of my problems. I always had far too much month left over at the end of the money, if you've ever been in that position. I remember one time losing $10 and I was physically ill for 2 days over a $10 bill. Some of my friends tried to be cheerful. They said, look, maybe some poor person who needed it found it. But that was not really helpful. I must admit at that time in my life, benevolence had not yet seized me. I was the person who needed to find $10, not lose 10. So that's where I was at that time in my life, behind on my dreams, and constantly wondering what I could possibly do to change my life for the better. Well, at age 25, good fortune came my way. And many times it's difficult to explain good fortune. Why do unique things happen to you when they do? I don't know. Part of that is a mystery to me. However, my good fortune was meeting a man, a very unique and successful man. His name was Mr. Earl Schoaf. When I met him, I said to myself, I would give anything to be like him. I wonder what it would take. Well, to make a long story short, This very special gentleman took a liking to me, and a few months after I met him, he hired me, and I went to work for him. I spent the next 5 years working for him in several of his businesses, and then, unfortunately, he died. But I did get to spend 5 years with this remarkable man, and the best thing he gave me during that 5 years was not a job. The best thing he gave me was the benefit of his philosophy, the fundamentals of living successfully, how to be wealthy, how to be happy. And sure enough, his ideas worked for me.
Mom and Dad are yelling at each other. Mom's saying things to my father, taking care of us. Pretty painful moment. And the door happens, and I go open the door, and there's this tall guy standing there with these big bags of food. And on the ground beside him, he had this can with uncooked turkey. And he says, "Your father here?" And I said, "Just one moment." And I sprinted to get my dad, thinking this was going to be the most euphoric moment you could possibly imagine. But God had come by and surprised us. Somebody cared about us, whatever you wanted to frame it. And my father came to the front door begrudgingly, and when he saw the man, he got very angry. And he said, "We don't take charity." And he went to slam the door. And the man was a very tall guy, and he put his arm or shoulder against it and kind of bounced off of it. And he said, "Sir, this is not charity. Everybody has tough times. And somebody knows you're in need. They want you to please accept this gift." My father got even more tense. He started saying, "I don't accept charity." And this time the man put his foot there and bounced off. And then he said to my father, and I thought my father was hit. He looked at my father and said, he looked at me back and said, "Don't let your family suffer because of your ego." He was intense wisdom.
Sometimes we have to ask ourselves, what's using my life? Heard a guy give a lecture one time that says, "We are today what we were when." And he was talking about the fact that we, to a great extent, behave, think, react because of some previous experience that we've had. One of the things that we know about life is that it is always changing. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Sometimes things go real well, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes you're happy, and sometimes you're sad. Now that's that thing called life. And when we begin to understand and know that, accepting that reality, that we will never ever have things just on an even keel all the time, that you're going to have some ups and you're going to have some downs. But during those down moments, that's where the growth takes place. That's where the work is. See, anybody can feel good when they have their health, their bills are paid, they have happy relationships, the children are acting normal, business is successful. Anybody could be positive then. Anybody can have a larger vision then. Anybody can have faith under those kinds of circumstances. Am I correct? See, but the real challenge of growth, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, comes when you get knocked down. Somebody said that adversity introduces a man to himself or a woman. How you handle it, that's where the growth takes place.
When everything's going out and nothing's going in, it's draining. And that's what happens to Elijah. He's drained. He's tired. He has no friends. He has no fellowship. He's doing the work of God, standing in power and calling down fire from heaven. Bless God. Fire, fire. Glory to God. The man of God is calling down fire. The man is just tired. Because often who you are publicly will draw away from who you are privately until you become so much a persona that you cease to be a person. And the person ends up under the juniper tree, and he's exhausted, and he's worn out, and emotionally he's frustrated, and it's affecting his perception of the situation. Because when you are tired and when you are lonely, you do not perceive your own situation correctly. And he thinks, even I only am the only one left. And glory to God, there's a bunch of preachers in the world who think they're the only one left, the only one left, and the only one right. And they do blogs about the rest of us. Because, bless God, they're the only ones standing for God. And what has happened to them is that they have lost perception of all the miracles that Jesus did in the Bible. The most prominent miracle was the healing of the blind. Because if there were one thing that the enemy would take away from you, it would be your ability to see. Also, you're a seer. And when you're not a sayer, you're a seer. And when you don't see things correctly, perception that you're the only one standing for God, the only one right, means you're tired and you're burnt out, and the enemy has tricked you into a false perception. God said, I've got 7,000 prophets. You're not the only one. I got 7,000. I can make another one look just like you. That's what my mother used to tell me. She said, I'll beat you to death and tell God you died. That's a terrible thing to tell a child. And if that wasn't enough, she said, me and your daddy will have another one that look just like you. They won't even know you're gone. I said, hey, mama.
I started reading when I was just a kid. I needed something to feed my mind, and I had all the suffering, and I didn't have a way to escape. Books were my escape. That's why I love books so much. It's like I could learn from somebody from another century. I could learn by another person's life experience. And then I started to do some speaking and touching people that way. But honestly, it's never been motivation for me. It's always been strategy, because motivation without strategy is like a warm bath. You should take a bath or you're going to be dirty regularly. You need inspiration, but it's strategy too. But I know you're never going to hear the strategy unless we can move you. I mean, I do a weekend that's 50 hours. So Oprah comes and says, Tony, I love you to death, but no one sits for more than 3 hours. I can't do it. And 12 hours later, she's standing in her chair, looking at the camera going, this is one of the greatest experiences of my life. Or Usher, comes to me and says, Tony, I can't do 50 hours, dude. I just can't. 50 hours later, he's like, I laughed my ass off. This is one of the most incredible experiences of my life. So I've learned a way to refine the process to move people so that they act. If you just get pumped up, what good does it have? So this book is all these specific strategies. Here's what to do. Here's what Ray Dalio says, largest hedge fund on earth. I say to him, don't inspire me. Tell me, if your kids couldn't get any of your money, not on a dime, and you were going to show them what to do, what would you show them? What would you tell them? He said, Tony, I've spent 10 years of my life refining this process. All my money's in it. It's called my all-weather strategy, because it works. The stock market goes up or down. And he said, I've tested it back to 1925. It makes money 85% of the time. So he tells me the strategy is quite complex. And when you show it to the average financial person, they go, oh, that'll never work, because they're not Ray Dalio. They haven't figured out $160 billion to manage. It takes $5 billion 10 years ago, net worth, and $100 million for him to talk to you. Now he won't do that for even that, for any amount of money. But he spent 3 hours with me. At the end, he shows me this formula. I said, you know what? This is great, but you showed me how to make a chocolate cake. It's very inspiring. You said use some chocolate, use some sugar, but I need the actual numbers, or no one's going to be able to act on this. They're never going to figure this out on their own. And he said, Tony, that's my secret sauce. So that's how I get billions of dollars. I said, yeah, but you've not taken money in 10 years. I said, you're a generous man. You've given, half of your net worth you're going to give away? Give me the formula. Give it to me. Just teasing him. He gave it to me. It's in the book. It's one of the formulas. And when you test it, over the last 75 years, it's been successful 85% of the time, year by year. And the times it's lost, it only lost 1.6% on average. The biggest loss was less than 4% in a world where the markets go up 50% down, back.
This book's going to make people money.
It'll make people money. The beautiful part of it is they don't have to pick Ray. They can decide who they want to follow, because I give you the strategies of all the best people.
The energy. Do you ever lose your energy? Do you ever get down?
Well, sure. I get exhausted. I get mad. I get tired. I'm a human being, but it's like an athlete. You built your muscle, so it's there for you. It doesn't last. What used to last when I was a kid, a month, might last me a few minutes or an hour, something of that nature.
Don't ask for it to change out there. Ask for you to change here. Don't ask for a more favorable wind. We call that naive. Don't ask for better seed, better soil. This is the only planet you got. Just ask that you can get wiser and stronger and better, and be able to take care of your own responsibilities. Get better. Learn how to handle the seasons better. Let's go through them. Just get better at handling the winters. You can't change the winter. You can't change the seasons, but you can change yourself. You say, well, what can I do about the upcoming winters of my life? The challenges that I know I'm going to face. Here's what you can do. You can get wiser and stronger and better. Just make a list of that trio of words. Wiser, stronger. Go home smarter than you came. Go home with more ideas than you came with. Next, get stronger. You can develop the muscle. You can develop the courage muscle. You can develop the inspiration muscle. You can develop the dedication muscle. You can get stronger. There isn't anybody here that can't get stronger. Next time we see you, may not even recognize you. How strong you're going to be able to become in language, in style, and personality, the ability to cope, the ability to handle with anything that happens, no matter what happens. And the third one is get better. We can all get better. I've gotten better. First talk I gave, I stood up, my mind sat back down. But here's the secret to my success. I stood up and did it again. I stood up and I did it again. And I did it again, and I did it again all those many years ago. I did it when I was scared, and I did it when I didn't want to, and I did it when I was ill. And I did it when it didn't work well, and I did it when they didn't appreciate it, and I didn't a lot of times when I didn't know much what I was doing. I just did it anyway. And now all these years later, I'm asked to walk on this stage with the greatest introduction I've ever had, greatest response and welcome I've ever had, the greatest opportunity I've ever had to touch this many lives with a mixture of words and heart and soul. I got better. I got better day by day and week by week and month by month, and I'm asking you to do the same thing until you can develop a long arm and a long reach
until you can develop influence that won't quit. Touch people next year you couldn't touch this year. Touch people now you couldn't touch before. Conduct a meeting now you couldn't conduct before. Heart and soul now mixed in there that wasn't there, missing before. I'm asking all of you to get better in spite of the winters, in spite of the downturn. The money downturn, the social downturn, the personal downturn, whatever it is. Just get stronger, get better. The key is not to wish for a better winter. The key is to wish for more strength, more wisdom, more courage, get better, get wiser, get stronger.
So, if you own your failure, you'll own your success. So what is personal growth? You know, I think about entrepreneurship. Some of us are in this to do social good and make money. Some of us are into this for political causes and make money. Some of us are just here to make money. But we all have different motivations. So we all define growth differently. Sometimes it's social to me, it could be personal, it could be financial, could be a bigger house, a bigger car, whatever it is, we all define it differently. But what is common about growth? If you do tomorrow what you did today, you will get tomorrow what you got today. Benjamin Franklin. That is the definition of not growing, isn't it? If you do tomorrow what you did today, you didn't grow, did you? Then you get tomorrow what you got today. You didn't grow, did you? So there it is. If you do it the same tomorrow, there's no growth. If you attain the same result tomorrow, there's no growth. So how do we get better every day, every hour? How do we find those resources? How do we find the energy, the knowledge to do that? That's what I want to talk about. So I want to change your mindset. Insanity, you've seen this before, is doing the same thing again and again, expecting a different result. You know, years ago, I used to own 17 restaurants and bars in a bunch of states. And every September, I'd go to the property, and the GMs would make a presentation and give me their business plan for the year. And I'd read through the business plan and would say, oh, gonna raise sales by 20% in 6 months. Awesome. Tells me breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night, booze, wine. I'm in. Then next year I come back. 20% in 6 months, lunch, breakfast. And I realized, wait a minute. This is the same shit I read last year. Said by the same people who said it last year, and I'm supposed to get on a plane and feel good about this. So what does 20% in 6 months mean? Well, does anything happen next month? What about 2 months from now, 3 months from now? When does something happen? Not till the last day. 5 months and 29 days, I gotta sweat bullets. What the hell does 20% in 6 months mean? How do you get your arms around that? How do you turn it into something that's meaningful in business? So, open your mind and play with me for a moment. What business are you in? Or what business do you want to be in? Retail, customer service, consumer, B2B? What business are you in? I love it when people say, oh, I'm in retail, I'm in medical devices, I'm in, every one of these is wrong. You see, it doesn't matter what business we're in. We don't sell products, we don't sell services, we don't sell advice, and we don't sell solutions. All of that is textbook bull. Everything we do is a process, never a result. That process must establish an emotional reaction. That reaction is our product. So, let me be a restaurant guy for a minute. The cook in the kitchen is making an entree, right? He thinks that's the product. So the entree comes out to the table, goes on a table, one of two things happens. Either you sit up and look at it and react to it, or nothing happens. If nothing happens, that business is stuck in mediocrity forever. So, is the product a plate of food or the reaction that the guest had to the plate of food? Which is the product? The reaction is the product, isn't it? You see, I'll redesign that plate 30 times until you sit up. Because I understand that the product is the way you react to things. We can all buy cell phones from any company. It's the way we react to the product that matters. It's presentation, it's emotion, it's perceived value, far more than absolute value. The fact of the matter is, everything we do must create reactions. Those reactions drive frequency, drive spend, and fuel the economy of our country. And he or she who creates the best reaction wins.